They'll be calling you a radical. Hi, Kevin Blanch. As you know, the last year I've been in the cage fight of my life. I've been in the cage fight with AML leukemia. I want to talk about how this vlog is going to go forward. It's come a time in everyone's life, and I think so many of us over the last 12 years, I think a lot of us are in the same situation that I am, that we have all these roads in front of us right now because we've been stripped down, naked, in so many ways to our core. We've had to get right down to our core and hung on by a thread in so many ways. Economically, philosophically, socially, sexually, especially economically. I'm to that point in my life now. I want to try to put this cancer behind me. As the last 6 months I've created and made some of the best art I've ever made in my life. In my YouTube, on my front page up in that thing, I wrote that on December 20th, 2012, when I was at my very lowest, weakest point. Really that night, the night before, I came very, very close to death. I really had a brush. The angels came to me. As this goes forward, I'm to the point where I'm just like the rest of you. I have to find a way to make money. I have to find a way to use what skills I have left, as I really do have some serious issues from the hardcore chemo, but it saved my life. As we go forward, what this vlog is going to be and what this is going to be, I am going to report issues. I'm going to move into the news genre, not what news is. Not what news has evolved to, not what news has been for years and years and years, is hyperbole and rants and spin after the fact. I'm going to report stuff in breaking news fashion. Am I going to take chances with this? Yeah, I always say, you know I do. But this whole last year and a half, or excuse me, 2.5 years has been what about? What about? What has this whole thing been about with you, Kevin? Credibility. It's all been about credibility. I had an incredible life that was torn apart and destroyed before I got cancer in so many ways. You know, relationships, and if you don't think that a person who has an incredible life and has a big broad aspect going on in their brain can be destroyed and taken apart by his own family, by his own community. I think of Michael Jackson over and over and over. Look what his own family did to him. As this whole path of mine started as a very young boy right here with autism. I had autism. As people are so ignorant about that, autism is a big, broad spectrum. And all you adults that are out there, you know, it can take a very broad spectrum. But we learn along the way, so many of us. We learn along the way as we struggle so much in so ways, but we find ways. And a lot of autistic people are gargantuously successful. I believe that's why I was so successful as a derivative trader, as so many ways. As this goes forward, it's going to be about credibility. As my path, your path, our path, as news, as so groomed and postured and so ridiculous, I'm going to report it in the truth. I'm going to use my extreme language at times. At times I will not. I will put it where I need it. That is what post-ignorance is. I'm going to report exactly what this says. Post-ignorance. Now granted, I have a subset of videos all set up and ready to go for after the election. I have a bunch of really cool videos, but I want to wait till after the election on usury, on how I think things are going to go forward, I'm going to hypothesize this for the first time in 40 years. Not the blue dogs, not the fake conservatives calling themselves Democrats. No, there really is a wave going across. Elizabeth Warren's going to win. And Elizabeth Warren is the first. And all you people that watch my videos out there 2 years ago, as I was writing my book and finishing Post-Ignorance, even before, and we had a big argument, and I had hundreds of people, literally hundreds of people all over, and usually dozens on this YouTube site, who I placed bets with. I placed bets with you guys that 2 years from the election, that Scott Brown would lose when they put up a real candidate. Did I know it was going to be Elizabeth Warren? No, but I'm glad it is. Because she is the first one in 40 years. I find it extremely pathetic that the left has to turn to a 120-pound middle-aged woman with glasses to be their bulldog. It is not the President of the United States' place to be the bulldog. John Kennedy had Bobby. But now we have Elizabeth Warren. And I'm going to make my prediction right now, as I've been hesitant on the election. The Senate races, for the first time we have really progressive candidates out there. This was supposed to be the year that the elephants were going to just take power back in the Senate. The math didn't line up because there's just not enough seats running for the so-called Democrats, which we really do have some Democrats. Here's my prediction. Democrats are going to sweep the board. Seriously. They're going to sweep the board, and I'll tell you what, they may even win. They may even win Arizona and Nevada, which to think of that even a few months ago was... They're gonna sweep the board. I think they'll win all the. They might lose one or two, but I think this power in the Senate will probably go 56 to 44. They're gonna gain some serious power in the Senate. Congress, it's gonna make a shift. I think the shift is gonna be surprising. Now, will the so-called Democrats take that? No, but the teabaggers are done. That AstroTurf gig is over. They're two babies. The deadbeat dad, well, she's going to lose so far. Well, that's no prediction. We all know that idiot's going to lose. All their babies are going to lose. They're darlings. Scott Brown, they're darling. Oh, that was an AstroTurf shift. You're right, an AstroTurf. This is going to be about credibility. This is going to be about knowledge. I'm going to breaking news report. I'm going to try to report the environment from the environment. I'm going to try to report finance from where finance is really created and really happens. I'm going to try to talk about news, philosophy, serious issues, but I'm going to report the news in the truth. Because I'm to the point now, as my teaching career was devastated and destroyed by cancer. There's plenty of people that want me to go back teaching. I bring a lot to the table in the classroom, a lot to the table. As students that watch these videos, I mean, my ex-students absolutely love me. People used to line up at 5 a.m. to get into my lectures. But universities, I understand. I have leukemia. They know. There's a dynamic there. As my derivative trading career has been destroyed because my arsenal was destroyed. You cannot trade equities and derivatives with no money. And I forked over all my money to save my life, which, thank goodness, they saved my life. My environmental issues, that is my number one. But number one going forward on this, and I'm going to report issues in a data, and hopefully I can get somebody, a sponsor, then grab. I don't want to deal with a YouTube AdSense account. I want nothing to do with those guys. Hopefully I can get a sponsor. Might start doing a show. I've got a really cool, I call it my Brad Pitt couch, that came out of the house that the river runs through it. I have it. I want to start doing interviews on that couch. It's the Brad Pitt couch, as I call it. And I'll do stuff like that, maybe a 30-minute show, you know, a daily show, or, you know, every other day. But I'm going to report news as it happens. And anybody, this is about credibility. And I challenge anyone to go through any of my videos. I've taken huge risks and chances hypothesizing forward. Financially, economically, socially, politically. I challenge anyone to go through my videos and question my credibility. I challenge them. This is going to be about hardcore credibility, not just in news, politics, sex, economics, wealth, sports, everything that is American culture. Everything that really matters to you is I'm going to try to help you make money, as you know I've done before. I've made beautiful calls financially. I'm going to try to help you understand through the lies and the rhetoric. This will be number one, always, always, always. Because what I've been through, the angels with me, oh yeah. As you know, I like to say, by now you know that my definition of cancer, winners versus losers, as I believe in society, that so much more is gained from losing than ever gained and winning. I think it's important to lose when you're young. And under 50 is young. Those small little angels that are taken from us, the people that so-called lose, I believe they win. I believe their souls are so purified by this good fight. Now that I've been through the good fight, I think they're chosen for the next place. In some dynamic that we cannot understand as humans on this earth, as we are connected by the jet stream, the ocean currents. Fukushima is the telling issue, and I will say first foremost on that, because that is cancer. As everybody stood up in San Francisco, stand up to cancer. If you're going to stand up to cancer, You must stand up to the nuclear energy industry. And anybody who says, oh, this is not working, oh, it is working. It is working. You take the G8, the three of the most powerful economies in the world have said no. And if you don't think Germany and Switzerland are always on the forefront of humanity and culture, you know nothing about humanity. Japan, yeah, by default, yeah. As it's always been the bulldog, and I will be the bulldog in the truth, in the reality, like Bobby was, as the Democrats for that big window, the big progressive era that created the strongest middle class in the world, they were bulldogs. They were tougher than nails. Tough, tough, tough. Like Harry Truman, tough. Never says, oh, he dropped the bomb. No, Harry Truman did not drop Little Boy. That dynamic was put in place. The Emperor of Japan dropped Little Boy when he attacked Pearl Harbor in the middle of the night. When they refused, he brainwashed his public, the women throwing babies over cliffs as the Marines in Okinawa were being slaughtered. He had no, that dynamic was not him. He did a lot of good things. He was a bulldog. He was tough. He was tough. And as far as this election goes, post-ignorance is happening. As the information age, I'm going to be the information age, and I'm going to do this dynamic, and hopefully I can get a partner that come along with me, and I'll find a way to make some money, as I'm economically destroyed. As I've never been so broke in my life, but I've never been so happy in my life. I've never been so pure in my life. And my mind and my focus and everything that I am, as you've got to know by now, if you don't know who I am by now, as I've tried to be as intimate as I can. I've let you in every aspect of my life, every way, because I want no skeletons. I want this to be pure credit, and I have gained credibility. I have. There's no doubt in anyone who watches this video who can say my credibility is not impeccable. It is impeccable. It's going to stay impeccable. And I'll report from all over the country as I'm getting ready to where I'll be able to travel. Finally. Somebody said the other day, well, why don't you do these videos in front of the White House, in front of New York? I've done tons of videos in New York City and Manhattan, all over. You know that. People that have been watching from the inception. This is post-ignorance. It's very, very, very real. My art videos that I've done over the last 6 months, my rants carry on, will they continue? Maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to start reporting news. Because I think there's a huge post-ignorant need for it. I'll report it as it happens, when it breaks, as quickly as it breaks. Hopefully I'm going to get some interviews with some very dynamic, cutting-edge minds and people in these different movements on my Brad Pitt couch, I call it. That's what I'm going to do going forward. I had some tough choices to make over the last one. As my teaching career, my finance career, my Hawken trial. Well, it's obvious I cannot go back to the Hawken trials. That benzene cannot get all over my body. One last thing. Some guy postured and groomed around about me, saying, oh, that AML is genetic. That kind of bullshit will not be tolerated on this channel. AML leukemia is not genetic. Absolutely 100% not. Proven, gilded in gold, cast in concrete. Any amount of college that knows anything will tell you that. My father dying being nuked in the Nevada test, then me getting leukemia after I rant and rave, is one of those ironies in life. I am one of those ironies in life. This is going to be post-ignorance, and I'll start reporting breaking news in a professional way, in a ranting way, in a passionate way. Will I use extreme language when it's needed? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Stay tuned. It's time to take a new path. And the election, Democrats are going to sweep the table. I'm serious. And why? Why? For one reason, and one reason only. Arizona, Colorado are the thumbprint. Because they're not white. They're brown. Kevin Blanch.